and inspiring leaders nationwide, including our very own Advisory Council members Dr. Shyam Karki and Council member Kiran Satola, SAFA New York State Director and President of the GPK Foundation USA Somnath Ghimire, SAFA Iowa State Director and former Iowa APIA State Commissioner Suresh Basnet, and SAFA New Hampshire Organizing Chair Susmik Lama, among many others. Nepalis are one of the fastest growing communities in the United States, growing by 207% since 2010. According to the Pew Research Center, more than 250,000 Nepalese live in the United States, with the largest populations in Texas, New York, California, Maryland, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Nepali-Americans are also one of the most politically engaged groups within the South Asian diaspora, often active in labor unions around the country. And recently, we are witnessing a growing number of Nepali-Americans making history by being elected and appointed to public offices at all levels, such as Maryland Delegate Harry Bhandari, Vice Mayor of Indian Head in Maryland Kiran Satola, and Council Member of Ulysses in Texas Tika Bhurtel. We are very fortunate to have many of these trailblazers join us today on two distinct panels. Our first panel on Nepali-Americans in leadership, and a second panel on promoting Nepali-American engagement. I'm now honored to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Erica Motsugu, who serves as the Deputy Advisor to President Biden and the White House Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Senior Liaison. Following Erica's remarks, our first panel today will be moderated by Suresh Basnet, who along with Dr. Karki and Somnath Ghimire have been so instrumental in helping put this event together. I will now turn it over to our keynote speaker, Erica Motsugu, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Namaskar. Thank you, Neha, Dewan, and Harini Krishnan for inviting me to join you tonight as your keynote speaker, and to Director Somnath Ghimire for serving as our gracious host and distinguished MC. On behalf of the White House, I send our warmest greetings for the South Asians for America's event celebrating Nepal National Day. I'm Erica Motsugu, Deputy Assistant to President Joe Biden and the Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Senior Liaison at the White House. As a member of the President's senior staff, my role in the West Wing internally is to make sure that our policies are inclusive of the AN and HPI community's viewpoints and needs, and externally to communicate the impacts of our policies to the community and to solicit and process input and feedback. It's a new role that was created last year, and I take this charge to make sure that the richness and diversity of our communities are no longer invisible in our policy deliberations, our interagency work, or for the public, and that the impacts of the administration's policies are inclusive of, informed by, and communicated to our communities. The President's made it clear that all AAN and HPIs have a seat at the table and an important voice in our discussion. And we can see this commitment in action. It's an observable fact that this work benefits from leadership at the very top, with Vice President Harris, the first woman and person of South Asian descent to hold the office of the Vice President, and another cabinet member, Ambassador Catherine Tai, the first woman of color and person of Taiwanese descent to serve as our U.S. Trade Representative. In the White House, AAN and HPIs make up 17% of our staff. We make up a little bit less than 7% of our national population, but across agencies, AAN and HPIs make up 14% of all political appointees, including heads of agencies. So from appointing AAN and HPIs in senior level positions across the executive branch, to nominating judges in federal courts, from issuing a presidential directive to prevent further racially charged violence against the AAN and HPI community, to laying the groundwork for a future Smithsonian Museum for AAN and HPI history and culture. All of us, each of us in the Biden-Harris administration, are working hard to embrace, ensure, and expand inclusion and belonging through not only policy, but also in everyday practices. This wasn't always the case of having representation. Historically, Asian Americans have been viewed as perpetual foreigners or not American enough. The pandemic exacerbated the longstanding racism and xenophobia around anti-Asian sentiments. The deadly spike in this hatred has made the past few years particularly challenging for the AAN and HPI community. There's no doubt that the pandemic has been a frightening time for our communities. The hate-fueled violence puts our democracy at risk. It corrodes our civic and daily life. It sows division and it undermines our safety and sometimes leaves us feeling powerless. That's why we must see ourselves as change makers and catalysts. And that's the work that South Asians for America is doing. Let's stand together, united against hate-fueled violence. We need to strengthen our democracy and make our communities safer. The freedom to live without fear is America's greatest strength. As Americans, all of us are capable to serve each other, to protect each other, and to lift up this great nation. We are Americans, and united we stand to make this a better place. And that's why celebrating together like this is so important. I was honored to join the Nepal Day Parade in San Francisco earlier this year. I was greeted by happy children, proud elders, hardworking community leaders, and surrounded by bright colors and calls of namaste and namaskar, and draped in beautiful kata. The Nepali-American community may be small, but it is mighty. We see it in everyday life and more with artists, celebrities, academics, politicians, and in sports. So I look forward to working together with y'all. We're going to work hand in hand to address the problems and challenges that are facing us today. We're also looking forward to finding opportunities to celebrate our joys and victories. Dhanyabad. Thank you for the honor to share this space with you tonight.
We're having some technical difficulties. It looks like Suresh G's audio is not working, so we will just please stay tuned.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica, for your inspiring remarks, and Neha for your leadership as a SAFA's National Director. Welcome, everyone. My name is Suresh Basnet, and I'm honored to serve as SAFA's Iowa State Director. As Neha mentioned, I'm honored and to be part of this event this evening. I'm also a proud American, Nepali-American, and I'm so excited to this event, which brings together so many Nepali-American to this evening and change makers. As a Midwestern living in Iowa, it's very different than living in East and West Coast. In Midwest, we have 150 people here, maybe 2,000 people there, 5,000 at most. But we are always a margin of victory. I have been involved in US politics since 2003. First time I was involved with the Howard Governor presidential campaign and John Kerry later on when he got the nomination, and also local political events. One of the key things that I still remember very clearly, I was the only one Asian going around in involvement in the campaign. There were probably 2 or 3 African Americans. That was the number. Today, it's a different story. When I was involved, when I met later Obama, it was the same story. Then vice president candidate, then the President Biden. And when I was walking, door knocking in negative 10 to 15 and 20 degrees in January, month of January, that's the common weather in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And when we go for door knocking, people are not used to with the Asian Americans. First of all, they speak like Democrat are here. Some of the people say Democrat are here. And some people, and frankly, they didn't like some of us, and including local Americans. They used to let us dogs out so that I will never return to the door knocking campaign again. Then we quickly figured out, okay, we're going to buy a dog treats Every time they let the dog out, we'll throw the treat first, and the dogs become the friend, then we steal the door knocked. That was the history. Today, when because of SAFA and also my involvement with the Asian American as a commissioner, we got to travel across the state and interact with many AAPI's communities. And now later in 2020, because I was involved and I was honored to be part of SAFA, we're able to mobilize some of the people locally. The results were amazing because some of the people we were able to register even few weeks before the election, who never ever voted in their lifetime. We registered 2 weeks before election about 111 people who are mostly refugees from Bhutan, Nepal. And one of 109 people actually voted for Biden. And what was amazing, their whole grandmother, who were 70 to 80 years old, who never ever voted in their lifetime. They're almost crying because they were able to vote first time in America. And that was the very changing moment for myself. Of course, Iowa faces many immigrant issues. Some of the challenges are healthcare, navigating healthcare system for immigrants, especially Bhutanese, Nepalese community, and also issue with how to take care of elderly parents who have a lot of language barriers, and how to register people for election. And the list goes on and on. But what I remember clearly today, the involvement all of us had with through South Asian for Biden and Harris administration through this organization, that we're able to be part of one group and mobilize people. The end result were amazing because I think we had an amazing vision from our founder, and also compassion from people like Harini, who were sleepless machine for many months. I think that was very, very inspiring and really changed my perspective about US politics. I am so excited to moderate tonight's events. First panel with an outstanding group of Nepalese-Americans with their leadership, including elected, appointed leaders, and former candidates. I would like to, I'm not sure if Mayor Puravel is here yet, because I don't really see his name yet in the screen, but I'm gonna go with our next speaker today. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Karki, who was appointed by the governor of Maryland to the Commissions on South Asian American Affairs, and who has served and continues to serve as an advisor and patron of more than 25 Nepali-American organizations in the US. Dr. Karki was a founding member and past president of Associations of Nepalese in America, as well as a founding vice president of Non-Resident Nepali Association, and currently also serves on SAFA's Advisory Council. Welcome, Dr. Karki, as a lifelong mentor to the Nepalese community over decades, who have witnessed the growth of the Nepalese community from a few thousand to now approximately 250,000 around the country. And in this time, you have also borne witness Nepali-American like you appointed to offices as well as others, running for office at all levels and making history, like Maryland Delegate Harry Bandari and Town of Indian Head Vice Mayor Kiran Sitola. Can you speak to this great representation of Nepali-Americans in public office and why it is critical.
Good evening, everyone. Shall I go on? Good evening, everyone.
Yes, proceed.
Thank you very much for making me part of this panel. Joining this distinguished list of all our pioneers in joining mainstream USA, I feel very privileged and honored to be one of you here. I've spent more than 50 years here. When I came here, starting from around 500 Nepalese, now we have grown to almost 500,000. It's a tremendous growth I have seen. Next thing I've seen is we have seen a new direction among Nepali-Americans. More and more are being engaged in US mainstream. They are in campaigns, they are standing as candidates, and that's a very good trend. I personally have managed 3 elections campaign. I was the first manager of Harry's campaign, which we lost. But sometimes losing is winning also in that sense, because we learn so much that what to do, what not to do, what are the things. Learning by yourself sometimes is a big lesson. And the next day we made it. And from that perspective, then I said, look, what we did in Maryland, we have to do all over the country. And we started a Nepali Bhutani National Council, and we campaigned very, very heavily in the last election. We campaigned non-stop last 6 months. We brought in more than 300 very well-known Nepali-Americans, professors, leaders, journalists to our panel. Somnath also was one of them, and I see 4 more panelists here also join me at that campaign, and I'm a very intensive one. Once we start, we go on and go on, and it gives a lot of sense of pride to say that although very small in number, we were the winning margin of victory in 2 states, Wisconsin and in Georgia Senate election, because sometimes even a small number in states which are the margin of victory is very low, that's where we can make make a big impact. So based on that one, I have selected 6 states where we really campaign very hard, and that part is a very good relation. And right now, we are very busily campaigning for the governor of Maryland, and then in the county of Baltimore also. I chair the Baltimore County API, and I'm a member of the API Maryland State. But one thing, sometimes with every experience, you learn something and you gain something, and you learn some bitter lesson also. Because although we campaigned very hard the last election, not a single Nepali Bhutani was appointed to any position. Not a single Nepali Bhutani was even given any invitation to the White House. So it really dampened the spirit of the committee. And some of my friends were very sarcastic to tell me, look what happens. So I told them, look, it's the first time, you always learn. Anytime you ride a horse, you fall back, but that's not a reason for not to try to ride again. Hopefully, the message of this disappointment and disillusionment and being excluded from the leadership group will reach the White House, and I hope they will respond to that in a positive way, saying, although it's small population, they are very, very fantastic, not only warriors, but also big campaigners. And I'm quite confident that as the time goes on, as I see more of the elected leaders here on the panel, I'll see more of the government appointees also on the panel. And with this one, I again take this opportunity to thank you all for joining this panel. And I really feel very privileged and honored to be one of you and to be here, to be in the same group as you. And thank you very much for inviting me. Good night and good evening. Any question you have for me or anything you want me to go on?
No, we're good. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Karki. We're so inspired by you. Next, I'm honored to introduce Kiran Sitola, who serves as the Vice Mayor of the town of Indian Head in Maryland, and who has the distinction of being the first person of Nepali origin to be elected public office in the United States. In addition to serving as Vice Mayor, Mr. Sitola currently works for the US Treasury as a senior manager, also serves as a board chair of Charles County Public Library, and on SAFA's Advisory Council. Welcome, Vice Mayor Sitola. Now, you have been an active advocate of sharing your local governance knowledge with the elected officials, not only in the US, but around the world, including in Nepal. Can you speak specifically to your work with the US Embassy, University of Maryland, Maryland Municipal League in helping local government officials in Nepal, and why this was important to you?
Yeah. Just want to do a mic check first. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Namaste, everybody. First of all, thank you to the panelists. To begin with, my thoughts and prayers are with the frontline workers and the soldiers and their families in Ukraine and everybody in Ukraine. Even though we're South, we're Asian-Americans here, but the very value that we're trying to defend, we're trying to fight for, is right now the front line of those values are being challenged by Russia in Ukraine. And my sympathies and our sympathies definitely lie with the folks there. So let me start by saying that. Again, congratulations to Nepal for their Constitution Nepal Day. This is a big milestone. But unfortunately, this seems to be kept moving kind of milestone. So hopefully it will be stable. There are lots of things that needed to be done in Nepal, specifically at the local government. And I'm proud to represent the local government. There are many lessons from the local government that can be shared. One of the most important thing, at least from my perspective here, is at our level, where the town population are usually 10, 15,000 or less, our elections are non-partisans. So, which means it's not a Democrat or it's not a Republican, but it is what the towns need. The needs of the election rules of my towns are very unique. Whoever gets the highest votes gets to be the mayor. The second highest gets to be the vice mayor, and then the third is a council person. And this is unique. I think this is the correct way to represent in local government, depending upon the number of votes. So those are some of the things that also should be shared across, not only across Nepal, but across the world. I have been designing courses on local governance in partnership with University of Maryland. Those courses have been taught widely across all the provinces, 7 provinces in Nepal. And then last I heard there have been requests from other countries in Africa and Middle East who have requested that those courses be taught in their country as well to help the local elected officials. the most important thing is we get the work done. We are above politics. We are above party. I know it is in democracy. It is very important to join your party, support the party, and I would imagine most of the members here are definitely supporting the Democratic Party. But as a federal government employee, I represent the federal government at my work, and at the local level, I represent the local government. That's how I plan to serve. To serve in, just to tell you, when I got elected in 2015, the mayor was just 19-year-old, so Brandon Pollen. It just shows there is an opportunity in this country at any age. Once you have that voting age, then you are able to serve right away. Serving does not necessarily mean only at the local government level being elected. You can also start by serving in your own different positions out there. Hey, local library. I'm chairing the local library board. You can serve in a homeowners association. And why that is important is that is where you are interacting with the public directly. When you knock on the door, once you're a public official at your local election, when you knock on the door, there will be no dogs that are coming to bark at you. It will be people who will be coming to know, because these are the folks that knows you. Instead of you having to throw the dog food at them, they'll be the one who will be welcoming you inside the house and giving you coffee and serving you breakfast as well. So get to know your local community, be engaged, because like Dr. Karki said, margin matters. Small margin matters. What is it? It's that winning goal. It doesn't matter how hard the battle was in soccer field, how strong the opposing team was. It's how many goals that you scored against your opponent, and how you came winning in the end. So those lessons are very, very valuable. Politics is hard. It is not it's not an easy thing to tackle. There will be lots of challenges, but you know what? You will learn. Just like Dr. Karki said, failure is just part. As important as winning, it teaches you that lessons to move on to the next phase. And I am so proud. Harry Bhandari is a state delegate, and then there are trendsetters among the Bhutanese, Nepalese-American, Indian-American, Pacific Islanders. There's so many opportunities there. So I also participated about 2 weeks ago in an Asian Americans for Government Network. What a fabulous group of talented people out there. And they had a conference in Crown Plaza. Another opportunity to explore. So if any of you are working in the federal government, join that network. See wherever you can continue to build that network and continue to serve and continue to embolden your own career as well as serving the public. Oh, what a better way. So with those, the party is get involved, continue to serve. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor Sitola. We are so grateful for your leadership. Now, I'm honored to introduce a national rising star in democratic politics who made history in 2001 as the first Asian American, first South Asian American, and first Tibetan American to be elected mayor of Cincinnati, Mayor Aftab Pureval. Mayor Pureval is also currently the Hamilton County Clerk of Courts and was the first Democrat elected to this office in more than 100 years. Welcome, Mayor Pureval. Now, you have often talked about the influence that Nepal has had on your early life and your connection to the Nepalese community. Ohio has one of the largest Nepali population in the country. Most significantly, around 25,000 Bhutanese Nepalese live in the Columbus, Ohio area, making Columbus home to the largest Bhutanese Nepalese population in the country. Can you speak to your interactions with the Nepalese community in Ohio at large and the role that they played in your historic lesson in 2021?
Suresh, thank you so much for having me. And SAFA, thank you so much for inviting me to this incredibly important forum. I'm so honored to be here. As you can see, I am in my darkly lit car. I'm so sorry. The event I was at ran long, but I wanted to be so desperately a part of this program. Despite being on my phone and in my car, I'm so proud to be here. Nepal has had a profound impact on not just my life, but my family's life. My mother is from Tibet and she was forced to flee her home. And so she picked up my grandparents and my mother, made her way through the Himalayas into Nepal and then into India. And both the Indian government and the Nepalese government welcomed her and my family as refugees. And in fact, my maternal grandparents settled in Kathmandu, specifically in Bodha, near the big stupa, where they lived until my grandmother, at least recently, passed away during the pandemic. So the very fact that the Nepalese people and the Nepalese government welcomed my family at their greatest need is really one of the main reasons that not only I am the mayor of Cincinnati, the first Asian and South Asian mayor, not just in Cincinnati, but in the Midwest, but the very fact that we exist as a family at all. So I feel a deep personal responsibility to the Nepalese community, not just here in Cincinnati and Ohio, but around the world, to give back, to lift up. And I've partnered with our local Bhutanese and Nepalese community on a number of efforts. Tara Dahal, who's a leader down here in the Cincinnati area, was just recently given a governor's award for his efforts to expand access to the COVID epidemic's vaccination. And I was so proud of him and so proud of the efforts that he's making here on the ground to mobilize and organize and support the community. The community has always been incredibly supportive of my efforts, despite the fact that so many of them can't actually vote for me because they live outside of the city, but they've supported me on social media. They've spread the word through networks around the country and around the world. And I owe a lot of my own success to the strength of the Nepalese and Bhutanese community. You know, the community are so often refugees here in our country, and I can't help but feel a personal connection to them. I understand in a unique way how hard it is to come to a new country where you don't know anyone, where you have nothing, and create a community out of whole cloth, out of nothing. But it's due to the resilience and the extraordinary spirit of the Nepalese and Bhutanese community that they've been able to come here and been able to thrive. And my story is really emblematic of that spirit. I mean, my mother was literally born in a tent on the side of a mountain, and now I'm the mayor of Cincinnati. That story only happens right here in this country. And the Nepalese, Bhutanese communities in Cincinnati are very much part of making sure that that dream exists for the next generation. Thank you so much for having me, SAFA. Thank you so much for inviting me, Suresh. And I hope you have a wonderful...
Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and for your continued commitment to the Nepalese community. Now, I'm honored to introduce another elected leader in local government and council member Tika Paudel, who was elected to the Yulis City Council in Texas in June of 2021. Council member Paudel was born and raised in Nepal, where he taught math and accounting at both the high school and college levels, and has lived in US for the past 14 years and is a small business owner. Welcome, Councilman Member Powdell. Now, Texas has one of the largest Nepalese population in the country, and you made history as the first Nepali to be elected to the office in Texas. Can you share with us not only the impetus, but behind why you decided to run for office, and also for the involvement of Nepalese community in your journey to the public office?
Thank you very much, sir. You guys hearing me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I really appreciate it. Good evening, all guests in this event today, and I really appreciate for the Harini to invite me in this meaningful program or meeting. First of all, I would like to say thank you guys for your moral lessons or the economic support or any kind of support. You guys made me win the city council last year. And you know, my name is Tika Powdell. I'm in the, I live in US last 15 years now. Before that, I was homeowner association. I was working in the homeowner association 12 years continuously on the board as a principal. Anyway, that's the Texas is the large population of Nepali. You guys know already that. And then why I am deciding to go to the local elections, because no one tried to do that. Everybody is scared. No, it's not the time. No, it's not the time. And mentally, I was not ready. I was asking our local leaders, hey guys, we need somebody. And finally, NST, Nepalese Society of Texas, Mr. Dinesh Sharma, and we had a communication each other. And then they decided, Tika, you're the one, you have to go to fight the election because you already working as a social, like homeowner association, something. Then I went there. It's a lot of, it's very difficult. It was not easy. It's going to be run off again. But the second time we made it. That's not only for me. All you guys did it. I really appreciate it. This kind of program is really fruitful for us, kind of a local election leaders to know where we are, what you guys doing, and what I supposed to be do. If you guys can give me the chances and that also in coming time, that's going to be really appreciated. On the occasion of the Nepali National Day today, I'm feeling very proud to talk to you guys. Our relation with America is long time, more than 75 years. And America is helping our country directly and indirectly, a different sector like agriculture sector or educational sector, transportation, everywhere, all kind of sectors, even the Tarai area, hill area, or mountain area. So without America, we cannot make any kind of a good progress there. We all know that. But however, that's the reason America also give us the chances to come here the different way. Like students come for the study, and then diversity visa program, we come a lot of Nepali here. Anyway, we are more than 250,000 Nepali here, but we have a lot of issue here, sir. That's the reason I try to start from the local elections, like our language barrier, driving license. When you're going to be in the Texas, you must have the driver license, to drive it. We don't have the public transportation here. Lot of medical issue already. I heard about that things. We have a lot of issue. Like in Texas, I don't know this is the time to tell you guys or not. All you guys, the very respectful leaders there, simply we are 80,000 Nepalese people here. If we need to renew the passport, we have to go to the DC. We need to mail it into the DC. Sometimes we lost it. This lot of problem. Please, we need one at least investor in like Texas or Ohio, where is the most population, to help our Nepali peoples. I don't know this is the right place to tell you guys or not. Please, that's the things everybody asking me, Tika, can we talk about that? I don't know whom I have to talk. All this, politics. And then these things. Anyway, I do not have that much of things. Anytime I need you guys or I need you guys, I can definitely contact you all. My experience in the city council is great. I was the business owner and I used to work also. I quit work and then I give my business. I'm completely spending my time to the city. Not the only I'm starting now. I'm not thinking I'm going to continue that. I need some other Nepali people has to be involved on the local election or state election, like Heritage is doing. But Dinesh also tried, Dinesh Sharma last time, the district, but we didn't make it. That's not the big deal. And then, Mohan Gemali also tried to do it. We didn't make it, but that try is the best things, good things. Thank you very much again. I really appreciate inviting me.
Thank you so much, Council Member Bhurtel, for your leadership. I want to thank all the panelists in this first panel, Mayor Pureval, Dr. Karki, Vice Mayor Sitola, Council Member Bhurtel, for joining today and sharing your experiences with us. We now share a video of messages and performances from two Nepali artists. The first is a performance by New York-based singer and songwriter Ankit Shrestha, performing hit song Anaginti Atma. Second is a compilation of performances by senior Nepali film and dance director Govind Rai. Following the video, my SAFA colleague, Somnath Ghimire, who serves as SAFA's New York State Director, will moderate today's second panel on Nepali-American engagement.
Hello everyone, this is Ankit Shrestha. I'm a musician originally from Kathmandu, Nepal, currently based in New York City. So first of all, thanks to South Asian for America organization for having me in this event on the occasion of Nepal National Day. So about the song, I wrote this song when I first moved to New York City, and kind of revolves around being an immigrant and moving to a new city or a country, and I tried to kind of capture the emotion of being far away from home and from your family. The song's called Anaginti Atma. Hope you enjoy the song.
Hello, Namaste. It's me, Govind Rai from Nepal and Nepali film industry senior dance choreographer and culture ambassador. I would like to share and convey my message to all over the world of our culture and tradition and languages. We are Nepali and we have got a Nepali language, and as well as we have got many tradition and cultures, which is I'm going to talk to all of you. Our country Nepal is filled with multiple cultures and traditions. We find people with different cultures, traditions and beliefs. Cultures and traditions are the root identity of every person. Nepali culture and tradition are all different, and it is based on what your caste is. We can find 36 different ethnic groups and different religions. They have their own languages, music, traditional clothing, foods, beliefs, and so many more. Culture also varies from the geographically features of our country. There are three different regions which are mountains, hills, and Tarai. They all are very unique from one another. In the US, there are countless amounts of Nepali families and friends. I hope our Nepali culture is educating others and embracing the beauty of who we are and about our country. I want to encourage young Nepali students by letting them know about the importance of knowing how to speak the native Nepali language and not to let go of our culture. I hope everyone embraces beautiful Nepali culture every day. Thank you so much for listening me.
Good evening, namaste. Hi everyone, my name is Somnath Ghimire. I'm a proud Nepali-American and a proud member of the SAFA family. I serve as SAFA New York chapter state director and also president of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation America chapter and the president of Alliance of South Asian American Labor Jackson Heights chapter. And I am so honored to moderate today's second panel on promoting Nepali-American engagement with an esteemed group of Nepali leaders and community organizations which inspire me greatly. We, the only South Asian organization in New York City, that is GPK Foundation America, which came across on the ground in the streets during the pandemic, beginning from March 2020, end of March 2020 till December, distributing more than 50,000 USDA food boxes and sanitizers, gloves, hand gloves, masks, all those PPE in need to those every communities serving 5 boroughs. And the mayor of New York City recognized our foundation, the second organization working to combat the pandemic during that period. Today, I would like to introduce the panelists of this second session. Honor to introduce Mr. Dilli Bhurtel, an esteemed pediatric federal cardiologist based in Virginia. Hello.
Namaste.
Hello.
Namaskar and greetings.
Hello.
I'm very honored today to be sharing this with all our distinguished guests and panelists and to celebrate this Nepal Day with you all. I'm really privileged and honored to hear the success stories of our Nepali diaspora in United States of America. As Mr. Kafle and Karki shared earlier, that the Nepali population, Nepali diaspora has increased so much. We're close to 500,000 now, and our voices are being heard, and we are here to celebrate this. And regarding myself, as we all have our stories, and we struggle, and we come along, and we are here, and we thrive. And America is the country of, when we have dream, and we are successful. And our success would be more pronounced and amplified if we give it to our community, if we give it back to our community. And the pleasure of giving back to the children's health is way more than one could anticipate. And here we are. We've been working with Kathmandu Institute of Child Health, led by distinguished Dr. Koirala, and that lots of professionals from different walks of life. We came together and established a partner organization in the United States named K-Pulse. We have been connecting with you all and have successfully completed multiple interaction programs, and we're supporting the kids in Nepal, and kids wherever they are. No kids should die because they are born in a less privileged setting or less privileged family. With this motto, we are working ahead to work together, to collaborate. And obviously, when we focus on giving and helping the children, we all will be connected more and will be more united. We will be successful. So with this note, I'm happy to be here and would definitely work together with you all, and we'll share our successes in the coming days. And glad to be here. Thank you all.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Thank you. I have some technical difficulties on my end. So next, I would like to I'm honored to introduce Ms. Srijana Kafle for her remarks on this special Nepal Day event of SAFA.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, good evening. I'm Srijana Kafle. First of all, I would like to like South Asian for America SAFA National Director Neha, Dewanji, and SAFA leadership team and distinguished panelists. Today, I feel honored to be here to keep my few words and introduce what I am and what I'm doing being an immigrant at US. And then, first of all, I really thank to SAFA New York director, Mr. Somnath Ghimire, who has given me this opportunity. It's really, really grateful for me. Thank you, Mr. Somnath Ghimire. And although it's a big occasion, I feel like that when I got all this information regarding this program, it's really big occasion. I feel like a 75. It's a kind of historical, like a day. It's like a relation between like America and Nepal. It's all it's so like historical. Although as for my understanding, definitely America and Nepal has a good relationship. It's like geographically, it's a far away, Nepal and America. Definitely the people to people, state to state, it's seemed like it's very close and strong relationship among those countries. And as for my information, like I know definitely America, US government, United States America, they have supported a lot of things to the Nepal as well. During the pandemic time, just Mr. Somnath sir shared about the lot of things which has been received during the pandemic time. That's for especially for the Nepali community. That was really grateful, helpful for us Nepali community. I don't want to talk about what we received and what the US government has supported to Nepal, but recently what we have seen, like we kind of feel so proud, like our Nepali leader. They have involved in a different level. It's a good thing for us. Recently, we have got the one New York Assembly member, which is Sarahana Shrestha. She's a female. We really feel so proud being like Nepali women. She has received a dynamic role and dynamic position. It's really proud moment for all among the Nepali community as well as Nepali women. So definitely we have to have seen in the future time to increasement and involvement women participation in all over the US state, for women participation in a decision level and every level for the mechanism for women. So definitely, and then I have one more question for the SAFA entire team and definitely US. So in Nepal, it's like almost fix out the date for the election. So is there any plan and program for the SAFA team, SAFA entire member to increase the women participation in policy level? Like you have in any program? So if you have any program, please kindly mention, and if not, please kindly design. We really want to see the women participation, 50% women participation in the policy level in Nepal as well as here too. So I don't want to speak as much as, because at this program, I have got like a senior and very talented and greatest leader panelist among with me. So I just want to hear among them. I just want to speak like this. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, entire SAFA team member, by giving me such an opportunity. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your short and sweet remarks. Next, I will honor to introduce Mr. Manju Sangrola, founder of SAN. Please welcome Mr. Manju Sangrola.
Thank you, Somji, and thank you, SAFA. Dear SAFA Chair, Deputy Advisor to President, Maryland Delegates Harry Vandari, Cincinnati Mayor Mr. Pureval, Vice Mayor Kiran Sitaula, Advisor to Governor Dr. Shyam Karki, all panelists and distinguished community leaders. Namaste and good evenings. My name is Manju Sangrola and I feel honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation to let me share my experiences about living in the US and volunteering with the community. First, I would like to express my sincere greetings to all the Nepalese for Nepal Day. I wish all the best to the Nepali citizens and the Nepali diaspora living around the globe. 26 years ago, I came to the US as a dependent of my husband, who was pursuing a graduate degree at Columbia University. Since I was a nurse in Nepal, I started working for my RN license after my arrival. At that time, very few Nepali nurses were in the US and networking was not an option. So very few tried to enter the workforce due to a lack of information. This motivated me to do something for Nepali nurses so they could get the information they needed to enter the workforce. It was not easy to start. I started networking with nurses from the beginning. I found some nurses living in the DC metro area and invited them to my residence in 2004. And then it started as informal gatherings and expanded our reach out to more nurses before we finally decided to establish a Nepali Nurses Organization in 2015. The Society of American Nepalese Nurses, SAN, was formally established as non-profit organization. Currently, SAN has about 500 life members throughout the US. It has 9 chapters in different states. SAN is a resource for Nepali nurses, primarily for acquiring an RN license, helping them to find a job, and enhancing their academic careers. SAN has partnership with Grand Canyon University, Chamberlain University, and the Public University of America for tuition discounts and free of cost credential evaluation. Most members are taking these advantages. We also collaborate with local and national level organizations like the Fairfax County Health Department. Nurses are the backbone of the healthcare system in the US. During the COVID-19 pandemic, SAN held weekly webinars to empower, motivate, educate, and share experience in a fight against a deadly virus, discrimination, and social stigma. We ran more than 60 webinars for nurses and the overall community in the US. Later, when Nepal was hit hard by the second wave of COVID, we held 35 webinars that focused on nurses and healthcare workers in Nepal and around the globe. SAN collaborated with psychiatrist organization, forming a team of 20 mental health professionals, including psychiatrists and licensed counselors. This team conducted one-on-one counseling and virtual webinars on mental health related issues during the pandemic. And we are continuing this program since mental health is a situation with a huge social stigma. During the pandemic, SAN coordinated with more than 70 organizations and many individuals in the US and raised funds of more than $300,000 US for the National Innovation Centers in Nepal, run by the renowned social figure, Dr. Mahabir Phun. SAN has contributed to the training of Nepali nurses, education, scholarships for unprivileged students, uterine surgery in rural Nepal, and donated to the most deprived Chepang communities after the devastating earthquake in 2015. We organize health fairs that focus on preventive health care, such as education on diabetes prevention, heart disease, women's health, visions and hearing checks, CPR awareness, colon cancer screening, blood donation drives, mental health, dental screening, and nutritional awareness. We are also working on a project that focuses on senior citizens. SAN's mission is a advocacy in action. We encourage our members and community to speak up their rights on health equity and in the healthcare system. Personally, I am passionate about social work to make a positive difference. I believe in giving back to the community. Action-oriented nonprofit organizations hold a special place in my heart. I volunteer in many organizations in the US, and I have been continuously volunteering and managing free clinics for the last 15 years. Before ending, I would like to wish all the best to the Nepali community during this Nepal Day. Thank you again, SAFA, for this opportunity. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank
And
you.
lastly, the 2 seconds remarks by NRNA USA Vice President Diksha Basnet. Diksha Basnet, are you there? NRNA USA Vice President Ms. Diksha Basnet. Now I will turn over to my colleague, Ms. Susmik Lama.
Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you so much. Namaste. My name is Susmik. You see her pronounce, and I am proud to serve as a as an organizing chair of SAFA New Hampshire chapter, and definitely a colleague and a comrade with Somnath here. Just want to share quick little things about me. I was born and raised in Kathmandu, Nepal, and moved to States at the age of 16. I do not come from a political family or an academic background in politics. I did not vote until the age of 25, and I paid no attention to how politics and policy affected my personal and public life until I was navigating a broken healthcare system in this country, both as a patient and as an aspiring healthcare worker. I used to work as a Nepali translator for Bhutanese refugees in South Philadelphia. And we had this limited resources to provide the care that people needed. And yet I did not question that we deserve more. Did not question the system, because as an immigrant in this country, I thought we were supposed to be grateful for what we already have, until I was also working with one of the top cardiologists in the country in UPenn, and he had a patient who asked for a written script. And I was just like, well, at this day and age, when you can just get a medication from Walmart to CVS and Walgreens, why does this person need a written script? And he was like, it's because I cannot afford the medication that I need for my heart condition, and he needs to order it from Canada. And that is when I was just like, I looked at him and he's like, okay, he's someone who has a healthcare insurance. He is someone who is a male, but also a white person is in this country and has access to healthcare insurance, and yet he cannot afford the medication to keep himself alive. And that is when I started questioning the system. And that is when I learned that there is something that is fundamentally broken in our healthcare system, which then, I changed my path and started organizing. And more I learned about the policies, I learned that, every day, the policies and politics affected the everyday life of people, whether or not you are engaged in it, whether or not you're paying attention to it. And so I also learned that who sits at a decision-making table matters. So in 2016, I volunteered to knock doors in South Philadelphia neighborhood and talk to my neighbors for the first time about voting. Imagine a girl who did not vote was talking about voting in South Philadelphia community. I was scared. I felt like I did not know enough to talk to these neighbors. And I'm, one, being a Nepali-immigrant in this country, but also at the same time, I understood that there was a lot at stake. It was not just the healthcare policies, but it was housing, the climate, and most importantly, the thing that really matters to our community is immigration reforms. And guess what? I have not stopped organizing since then. To be honest, I am here in Manhattan Tent House in one of the most organizing revival event happening, where we have organizers from across the country. But also at the same time, I am in a storage room just joining because this moment right here is so important and deeply personal to me. I've been in spaces where there have been a lot of powerful leaders, a lot of powerful community leaders who have made a transformation in this country. And to be able to be in those spaces and to be the only Nepali in that spaces, it always grounds me. And which is why I continue to organize in our Nepali community. And which is why, like, everything that I've learned about organizing, about policies, I want to bring it back. And I know, I'm so grateful that I'm part of SAFA, because with this SAFA's platform, I've been able to reach so many Nepali young people and give it back to our community. But all the same time, we cannot do this alone. I cannot do this alone. SAFA cannot do this alone. And I know Somnath Dai cannot do this alone. And we need all of you. But before I go there, I just want to also, on behalf of the entire SAFA team and our esteemed panelists, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And as we celebrate Nepal National Day, and incredible strides that Nepali-Americans are making throughout the United States, to be honest, I'm so inspired and so grateful. And I'm so energized about what is coming in future. So we hope you will all stay connected with South Asians for America as we mobilize our community nationwide to vote in what will be the most consequential midterm elections of our lifetime. So please visit our website at www.saforamerica.org. And I know the link will be posted in the chat as well. And please, please, please join our mailing list to stay informed about other events and volunteer opportunities. With less than 50 days to the November midterm elections, we urge you to visit the community organizing page on our website to join a phone bank. I know it will be scary because you'll be talking to people, but we'll have an amazing people in a community, and we'll have an awesome training that will be led by amazing organizers. Text bank or canvassing in your state, in your community, because reproductive rights, voting rights, immigration reforms, the climate, the education, and to be honest, our fundamental human rights, it's on the ballot this November, and we need your voice, your vote, and your help now more than ever. So please join us. I know this probably was a lot to soak in, and I know it probably is scary but I'm so glad that I stood up to that door on the day that I did when I signed up for the canvassing, and we are here to hold you. And yeah, again, thank you all for joining us, and I wish you all a great night, and can't wait to build power for Nepali-Americans here in this country, in Nepal, and across the world. So thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you all.